On a cozy bed in a quiet bedroom, a teddy bear named Teddy was fast asleep. Suddenly, he heard a gentle knock on his wooden toy train. He opened his button eyes to see the train's engine puffing smoke and wobbling on its tracks. Teddy watched as the train's wheels spun and moved forward. Then he felt something strange. His body began to feel lighter, like he was floating. Teddy gasped as he realized he wasn't on his bed anymore. Instead, he found himself sitting inside the train car, holding onto a miniature suitcase. The train whistle blew loudly, startling him. As it pulled out of the station, Teddy looked around at the other passengers. There was a soft toy monkey with a striped bathing suit and sunglasses, a fluffy white lamb wearing a blue hat, and an orange cat dressed in a striped shirt. All the passengers had suitcases just like his, except the cat's suitcase was enormous. "Where are we going?" asked Teddy nervously. The monkey yawned widely, revealing his pink tongue. "We're taking a dream trip," he said sleepily. "It's so relaxing." The lamb nodded its head, almost falling asleep. "Yes, such a dreamy ride," it mumbled. The train continued chugging along the track. Teddy wanted to get off, but when he tried to open the door, he found it locked. A sign above the door read, "Do not open until you reach your destination." The passengers seemed calm, but Teddy couldn't shake off his worry. Why were they taking this strange journey? Where were they headed? And why couldn't he open the door? As the train rumbled on, the rhythmic sound lulled most of the passengers into a peaceful slumber. Teddy tried to rest, but his eyelids felt heavy and he couldn't seem to close them. Just as he was about to give up on sleeping, the train suddenly slowed down and came to a stop. The passengers stirred from their sleep, and the train conductor, who had been dozing off, woke up with a start. He checked his watch and announced in a loud voice, "We have arrived at our destination." The passengers cheered and quickly got off the train, grabbing their suitcases. Teddy stood there for a moment, feeling disappointed that his train journey hadn't been a dream after all. But then he noticed something. The train's engine was now a friendly face. It smiled at him and said, "I'm so glad you could join me on my magical train ride." Teddy was confused. He didn't remember getting on the train, and he was so worried about where they had been. "What's your name?" Teddy asked the engine. "My name is Toby," the engine replied, "and I take sleepy passengers on adventures to faraway lands." Teddy thought for a moment. He remembered his mom tucking him in bed and telling him a story before he fell asleep. Could this be one of those make-believe adventures his mom often talked about? He decided to play along. "Well, Toby," he said, "thank you for taking me on this adventure. It must be very tiring work driving your train." Toby blushed, his metallic face turning slightly red. "Oh, it can be tiring," he admitted. "But don't worry, I have just the thing to help me relax." "Would you like to help too?" Teddy nodded eagerly. "Of course," Toby explained. "All I need is some coal for my engine. Please go over there and put these pieces of coal in my boiler. They're quite heavy, so be careful." Teddy went to the spot Toby had indicated, but instead of finding coal, he saw 6 colorful musical notes lying on a table. He picked them up and handed them to Toby. "These aren't coal," he said, confused. "Oh dear," Toby said, his voice suddenly strained. "This is not good. You see, I use coal to keep my engine running, but I'm almost out. If I could just find some more, I would be so grateful." He looked at the 6 musical notes in his hands. He knew those weren't coal, but what were they? Then he got an idea. Maybe he could turn the notes into coal by playing them. So he started to play the first note. It made a deep, resonant sound. As he played each note, they blended together, creating a beautiful melody. When he finished the last one, the notes turned into puffs of white smoke and disappeared into Toby's boiler. Toby let out a huge sigh of relief. "That's it," he said. "I feel so much better now. Thank you for helping me, Teddy." As a reward, he said, "Would you like to sit in my cab and drive the train for a bit?" Teddy was thrilled. He climbed into Toby's cab and took hold of the controls. He felt a surge of excitement as Toby handed him a lever. "Here you go," Toby said. "Just pull this lever to make the train move." Teddy pulled the lever and the train lurched forward. He was in control of a magical train that could take people on dreamy adventures. He couldn't believe how cool he felt in that moment. As they traveled, Teddy noticed a group of children waving from the platform. One of them was holding a sign that read, "Welcome to Dreamland." Teddy smiled back at them. This was an amazing place. He imagined all the wonderful dreams they were having as the train passed by. After a while, Toby tapped Teddy on the shoulder. "It's time for you to go," he said. "Oh," Teddy replied, a bit disappointed. "I was having fun." "I know," Toby said, "but it's time for you to go back to your own bed now." Teddy felt a little sad, but he also felt happy about his adventure. He thanked Toby for the wonderful experience and promised to visit again soon. Suddenly, Teddy felt himself being lifted off the train and placed on a soft surface. He opened his eyes to see his bedroom. The sun was shining through his window, making his room glow with warm light. His teddy bear body felt heavy, and he could hear birds chirping outside. It was morning. Teddy smiled, remembering his exciting journey. He got up and walked over to his window. As he looked out at the world, everything seemed new and exciting to him. He saw the birds flying in the sky and the flowers blooming in his garden. Even the trees looked different to him. He could see them waving their branches as if they were saying hello. Teddy felt full of energy. He wanted to explore the world and have new experiences. He remembered what Toby had said about taking passengers on dreamy adventures. An idea popped into Teddy's head. What if he could bring a bit of dreamland to the real world? He wanted to share the magic with others, so Teddy decided to make plans for an adventure. He gathered his friends, a little girl named Lily, her teddy bear, and a fluffy puppy named Max. He told them about his amazing journey on Toby's train and the wonderful things he had seen. Lily and her puppy were amazed. "Wow," Lily exclaimed. "Can we go on an adventure too?" "Of course," Teddy said, his eyes twinkling. "I want to go on an adventure with you." Together, they brainstormed ideas. They talked about visiting faraway lands and meeting magical creatures. Teddy was so excited. He couldn't wait to start planning. As they sat there chatting, Teddy felt a surge of happiness. He realized that the magic of Dreamland wasn't just in the destination, it was in the journey and sharing it with his friends. He knew that whatever adventures they had, they would always have each other to rely on, and that made him feel brave and confident. And so, filled with excitement and friendship, Teddy and his companions continued their journey, bringing a little bit of Dreamland into their everyday lives.